Hi, I'm Emily, the Creative Director for Heartfelt Creations. Today I'm back to show you how to shape and color the Sun Kissed Fleurs. This was a request we had on our YouTube channel. So one of the flowers that we're going to shape is this one. This is another one. So I'm excited to get started. Most of the flowers I used today were pre-stamped with either the striped Sun Kissed Fleur or the regular Sun Kissed Fleur and cut out with the Sun Kissed Fleur die. To get started, we're going to color this petal. I colored these already. A lot of the flowers I color, I will use a sponge dauber, and I'm using the Memento Teal Zeal color ink, and I'll just sponge around the edges. Now you could also lay this down and sponge in the middle if you'd like to, but we are going to layer these flowers on top of each other, so you really don't need to color the center if you don't want to. Now we'll pull this aside and lay this down, and we're going to shape these. Now when you purchase the Paper Blossoms mat, there are 6 different sizes. I will use those different sizes based on the flower. For this one I'm using the 8 mm, and to shape this flower like I did here, I will start in the center and pull outward. Normally we tell you to pull from the outside in, but for this one, start in the middle and go outward. Do that on all your petals, and then you can come back and just kind of press that a little bit, and that gives it that outward shape, and then you can press down in the middle, and that brings those petals up. To create this center flower, we will switch the tips. I'm using the 3 mm. We'll start in the middle, go out towards the center, do that on each of the petals. That kind of breaks the fibers of the paper, and then we'll go back and I'll do what I call a pinching technique. Once you've done that on all the petals, you can go back, use a larger tip, and go in a circular motion in the center, and that will raise your flowers like we did for these 3 center flowers. For this next flower, we shape this one differently. Again, use your large stylus. This is the 8 mm. Start in the middle, go outward. This kind of just helps roll it a little bit. You'll do that on each of the petals. You can kind of go in a circular motion, and then if you want more of a curl shape in there, you can go back and just quickly curl that petal around the flower. Press down in the center, and you've got the flower. This one we just added some pearls in the middle. For this flower, we shaped all the different sizes the same way. I pre-colored this one sponging the same way I did on the teal flower with the pink pastel. Just start on the outside and just go towards the center. The key to making this work is the black molding mat I have. We'll just pinch this. Just do that on each petal. And then we'll go back on the bottom flower, and that'll shape this flower to layer on a flower like this. For this flower, you'll notice that the petals are pinched a little bit. For those, we'll go on the back. Again, start in the middle, go towards the outside, and then to pinch that, literally, you'll pinch it. Take the tip and just pinch it together with your fingernails. The harder you pinch, the more of a squished look you'll achieve. And then, again, just go in the middle and lift that up. So that's how this flower was created. To create this tattered look, you will want to start out with a flower that's just flat, and you're going to spray it with water. So I'll put this to the side. Make sure it's pretty wet. When you do this though, just kind of rub the water into your paper, and make sure that the water is actually going into your paper, not just sitting on the top. So this is pretty limp. I'm going to spray just a little bit more on the back. You could also spray with a shimmer spray, and it would get it as wet as well. So literally, to get these petals like this, we'll go in here and kind of do like a folding technique like this, and you'll do that on each of the petals. And don't be worried about your cardstock wrinkling, because hey, we're going for a tattered vintage look. So do that on each of the petals. Literally just kind of squish it together. Now when I'm doing this in my craft room, after I've pinched the petals, I actually lay this cardstock aside to dry a little bit. Before I do that, I will go on the back side here and just give this a little bit of a curl. Now because this paper is wet,
when this dries, this will be really, really stiff. Now, when this would be dry, I'm going to see if I can do this right now, but I would let it dry a little bit more and then just kind of pull those petals out a little bit yet. You can press this down in the middle. Once this is dry, you can press it down and it'll pop up a little bit more like we did here. So you can see these petals in here. Now, after we were finished, this one's dry already. This one is completely finished. What I do after that, if I want to add some color, I'll go back and use my sponge dauber, and this one's just some pink ink, and I'll just kind of randomly add some color over that pink tattered area. There'll be some dark spots, there will be some lighter spots. On this specific flower, we use some orange in the middle, orange cardstock, and then we just brush with some teal on the corners. So that's the way you do the outside of the flower. Now to do this little bud that you see in the center, you'll literally create something that looks like this. Isn't that crazy? So you'll start with the flower. I snipped, you can see it better in the back, but I snipped in a little bit with my scissors. And you will literally, with the small point of your stylus, using the mat on the bottom, the key to shaping the flowers is making sure you have this mat. That's the perfect texture to shape the flowers. And literally you'll just go and push this together. Now, if you're at home doing this, once you've squished it to create this bud, I open mine back up, add some glue in the center, and then squish it together. I like to use like a zip dry that will dry fairly quickly. So in a matter of a couple seconds, you've got this bud that you can glue together. This flower center, we used a couple buds in the middle to create more of a full bud. Shape these two flowers the same way we did the bottom layers of this and this flower. This one was done on vellum, this one was done on paper. This one was colored with a stamp paint. You can watch the stamp paint video to see that technique. Layer the same sizes on top of each other and you've got a perfect flower.
Use these flower shaping techniques on your flowers. You can click the link below to purchase the products used in this video. Share this with your friends, and I'm excited to see you next time.